Hey everyone, I'm Deplorable Bobby, and to be honest with you, Streamlabs has pulled up a page I haven't seen before. So until somebody says something in a chat, I'm not going to know if I'm even live or not. So if you show up, there you go, Fred Knott. Thank you, my brother. That's great. I'm glad to see it's working. Usually, Streamlabs sends me to my YouTube page, and I go live from there, but this time Becky Taylor, thank you. I know it. Greg Martin, hello. Yeah, it's every time I go on Streamlabs to go live, I have a, I don't know what it is. Every time there's something different. And this time I didn't even go to YouTube, which I usually go to. But anyway, Dangerous Freedom. Thank you for being here, my brother. And Fred Knott, Becky Taylor, Greg Martin, I appreciate you all being here. DM, thank you, my friend. It's always a pleasure to see you. DM goes live on Saturday nights with History V at 9 p.m. So be sure and check her out. And there's going to be a lot more people I'm going to shout out tonight. And we're going to get through this. I'm just going to hang around for a couple of minutes, let some people get in here. We have to remember that Michelle's, I believe she's camping. So she probably won't be here tonight, but you have to remember her. And yeah, that's right. Y'all talk to each other. Maybe we'll get some more people in here, and I can get started. Spirit Talker, thank you for being here, my brother. I'm used to having you here beside me, but tonight you're at home. So Tam J, how are you doing, sister? Glad you're here. I used to see you all the time in my videos, and I'm glad to see you on my live streams now. I want to thank all my subscribers. I have to, because without subscribers, I would not have a channel. And I want to tell you, my subscribers have been doing a fantastic job of showing up in my live streams. And there's a lot of people showing up that I've only met once or twice. So if any of these people show up, you as the Patriot family, grab them up, make them welcome. DM, Fred Knott, Spirit Talker, Dangerous Freedom, all you mods. Anytime tonight you feel comfortable, you go ahead and you throw up anybody's URL that has content, especially Michelle, and feel free to throw Michelle's PayPal up there as well. Michelle and I are on a quest to go to DC, and it's looking pretty good. So hopefully we're going to get there next month, and if not, the month after. But Michelle is my partner in this effort, and we're going to go to DC, and we're going to try to ask the hard questions and hopefully get the hard answers. Rocky USA, glad you're here. Tam J, thank you again for being here. Dangerous Freedom, of course DM, the best mod going. And we're going to get through this. I'm going to go through here. You know, my PayPal information will be in the link below. And if you'd like to contribute, all contributions are greatly appreciated. And with that said, I have to give Cassie Stroh from the Stroh family website. They're great. They're just a family with, I think, 3 young kids, and it's a good, heartwarming live stream. So check them out, and check out the Great Dirtbag, of course. Thank you, Great Dirtbag, for your kind donation to my PayPal. It means the world to me. Tonight I'm going to try to do a little something. I have to stand true to my pro-life stance. So I'm going to do a pro-life segment, and then I'm going to do what I told all you people I was going to do a few days ago. I'm going to go through the Bill of Rights, and Deplorable Bobby is going to tell you how he sees it. So if you'll bear with me, I'm trying to hang around just for a few more minutes. I can't. Supposedly my viewer count was supposed to show up on here somewhere, but it didn't show up. So I don't know what my viewer count is. So we're just going to shout out a few people. Um, we're going to shout out people like Tony Patriot. Check him out on Thursday nights. He's always here, and I'm hoping that, as always, I have more viewers on my replay than I do on my live stream. So when I shout these people out, I'm hoping that other people are going to see them. DM and History B on Saturday nights. Tony Patriot on Thursday nights. Disabled Vets Perspective Sunday nights at 7. I go on at 8. Forbidden Information. She's on most nights around 10 p.m. But you need to check out all these people, and I know the people in here now. Steve H., glad to see you, brother. Salute you too. United We Stand. Thank you. The Supreme Court just ruled a short time ago that Trump can use the defense SEPT funding for additional wall construction. Well, that's fantastic. We need to build some walls. And not just a wall across the southern border. We might as well just, when we get to San Diego, we need to turn north, go all the way to Canada, and just wall off Washington State, Oregon, and California, along with Mexico and the other Central American countries. I'll tell you, it's getting really crazy in California and Washington and Oregon, and the crazy stuff that they're doing. I mean, you know, the Antifa stuff in Portland. You know, and then you've got the homeless people in San Francisco. And then you've got all these crazy laws that they're trying to enforce in California. Like, pedophilia is a normal sexual orientation and is taught in the 9th grade in California. So, people, we just need to wall them off. I know it's not going to happen, but people, they are not Americans. There are some great Americans. I was talking to Dangerous Freedom today, and we were talking about the people in California who are true patriots. How do they stay in California? I'm sure maybe they have family ties, or they have stuff like that that's keeping them there, a good job. But truly, in my heart, I couldn't imagine living in a state to where everything that is right is wrong and everything that's wrong is right. So, to those of you living in California, I salute you. Florida Jim, thank you for being here, buddy. Liberty Smith. Florida Jim says, he can't stay very long, and he can't call out everybody individually, but he wants to say hello to everybody. Terry Christ, thank you, my brother. Like I said the other night, I haven't seen you in a long time in my videos and my chat, so I'm glad you're here. United We Stand. Steve H. Flat Earth Forums. Check out Flat Earth Forums. He's got a good deal going. He's a great guy. Check him out. Fred Knott, Liberty Smith, Terry Christ, Flat Earth Forums, Florida Jim. Florida Jim, I'll tell you, this guy, he's an old man like me, but he brings you some facts, and he makes you laugh in the meantime. Florida Jim is the best. I love him to death, along with Fred Knott and Liberty Smith and DM and Dangerous Freedom, Terry Chris, Flat Earth Forums. I want to make sure that I shout out everybody here before I get started, because you know, like I know, once I get started, it's hard for me to stop. So I want to get through this, and I think there's plenty of people in here. So, oh, I do have one shout out that I have to say. United We Stand, glad you're here, brother. I've actually got a troll, people, and so I guess I'm doing something right. But yeah, I've got a troll that on every video, every live stream, every comment I make, he gives me a thumbs down. So I'm glad that he's taken his time to look at my stuff, because every time he gives me a thumbs down, that's another view. So just keep it up, my friend. And as a matter of fact, if you'd like to leave me a comment, I'll be happy to talk with you. You don't have to just give me a thumbs down. You can actually tell me why you're giving me a thumbs down, and maybe we can do a panel. Maybe we can go live together, and you, as a demon rat, can explain to me what it is that I say that you so horribly resist. So think about that, Mr. Troll, and let me know something in the comments if you dare. But anyway, Fred, not the memo's in here. Christy Quilter, glad to see you. I saw you the other day on another stream. It's good to see Nick Adams. So we're getting some people in here that y'all don't know. We are the Patriot family. We are the Patriot family because Tony Patriot named us the Patriot family. And I'm going to tell you, you know who you are if you belong to the Patriot family. Steve H., welcome. The Memo, welcome. If you're not part of the Patriot family, join the Patriot family tonight. Christy Quilter, the Great Dirtbag. Man, this dirt, you can't say enough about the Great Dirtbag. I just gave him a shout out for his PayPal. But I'm going to tell you, he supports a lot of channels, and he does a great job. He's a great patriot. So remember the Great Dirtbag. And we have to know that there's people in here for the first time, and if you don't know them, Patriot family, grab them up, talk to them, let them know they're welcome, because everybody's welcome in the Patriot family as long as you are a patriot and as long as you're kind and respectful and don't make off-color remarks. So I'm going to get started. I've been here for 10 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And my first segment is going to be hashtag pro-life. The Supreme Court allows Arkansas to enforce anti-abortion bills. Tuesday, the Supreme Court allowed Arkansas to enforce restrictions on medication abortions, rejecting an appeal from Planned Parenthood and their affiliates in the state as they tried to stop this. But Planned Parenthood asked the Supreme Court to review an appeals court ruling on the abortion pill rules and reinstate a lower court order that blocked them from taking effect. So the lower courts have already blocked this law or this bill, and they're wanting the Supreme Court to overturn that. And actually, I'm a little impressed. The law in question says doctors who provide the abortion pills must have a contract with a physician who has admitting privileges in a local hospital, and the doctors would agree to handle and treat any and all complications rising from a failed abortion attempt, an abortion attempt gone wrong. So now, in Arkansas, you can't just provide an abortion, even with the pill. You have to have a doctor in a local hospital willing to treat a preborn who may survive a failed abortion attempt. The Max Guru, glad to see you're here. Rocky USA still with us, and DM, and she's right. North Carolina is such a great place. You know, there's people in here from all over the country. So like I said, if you can lend an ear to me, lend your fingers to them and do some typing and get to know each other. And like I said, feel free to drop Michelle's PayPal information anytime that you would like, as well as mine. URLs are fine for any of you. Fred Knott, Liberty Smith, Dangerous Freedom, DM. Feel free to, Spirit Talker, if you're still here, feel free to drop URLs of anybody in here or anybody that you know that's part of the Patriot family that may not be with us tonight. The 8th Circuit Court of Appeals had reversed a court blocking enforcement of the law, but surprisingly put that ruling on hold as Planned Parenthood appeals to the Supreme Court. The legal battle continues, but Arkansas is allowed to keep the law in force. So as of right now, they're blocking a lot of stuff, and they have the right to stop these abortion clinics from performing abortions unless they have a doctor at a local hospital. Planned Parenthood offered medical, let me get this right. Planned Parenthood offered meds, and we're talking about the 2 abortion drugs, at the clinics in Fayetteville and Little Rock, but said it could not find an obstetrician anywhere in the state willing to handle the hospital admissions after a failed abortion. People, that tells you something. If they could not find a doctor in the entire state that was willing to admit preborns for treatment, that tells you that they're scared to death of Planned Parenthood, they're scared to death of abortion, and they're not going to facilitate these abortions. And I think that's a great thing. So if these doctors can't find other obstetricians willing to take care of a preborn who survived a failed abortion attempt, that means they can't do the abortions. Just went. Good to see you. President Trump, I'm glad you're here. Of course, Florida Jim's here. Dangerous Freedom, Fred Knott. Spirit Talker, I'm glad you're still here, brother. Y'all got that wrench, people. Y'all need to use them. Let's throw out some URLs on some of these people. Let's get some of these people some subscribers. This isn't a grow channel, but you might as well throw out the URLs of these people who have content and help them grow. In the meantime, I'm going to finish what I was talking about. The organization also argued that the law prevents women from obtaining medical abortions and would infringe on their right to have an abortion, otherwise known as the undue burden. People, now these women who want to have abortions have the undue burden in their back pocket, and they're going to throw that out every chance they get. The undue burden is the standard set by the Supreme Court when measuring whether restrictions go too far in limiting women who seek abortion. Well, in my opinion, you can't go too far to limit an abortion. We're going to get through this, people. Planned Parenthood argued if the law is allowed to stand, Arkansas will be the only state to not give an abortion medication to end the life of our innocent preborn children. 2 drugs, when used together, stop the fetus from attaching to the uterus and causes the preborn to be expelled as if in a miscarriage. Planned Parenthood offered these meds, the clinics in Fayetteville and Little Rock, but as I said earlier, they could find no obstetricians willing to handle admissions, and that is great. That's showing that these doctors actually have a pair, and they're standing for what's right, and what's right is to end abortion. These poor preborn children have no voice, and that's why I'm here. A new faith-based abortion health group in Texas is suing the HHS for the right to receive federal planning funds. Another sign such groups are moving aggressively to secure backing. Far too long that only went to Planned Parenthood. So now we have these anti-abortion groups trying to get a hold of the money that Planned Parenthood and their affiliates and other abortion clinics across the country have been taken advantage of. And I think that's a great thing. People, the abortion movement is moving, and it's moving on. We may not see it every day in the news, but it is moving. And we're actually gaining a little ground, because the class action lawsuit was filed on behalf of religious health care providers who oppose abortion. They argue that the Vita Nueva Incorporated and similar organizations like it have the right to Title X grants under some of the new Trump administration rules that, of course, are tied up in multiple court battles across the country. These cases assigned to the U.S. District Court Judge Reed O'Connor, the G.W. Bush appointee, he recently struck down the entire Unaffordable Care Act as being unconstitutional. Well, Vita Nueva means new life in Latin. Much of the complaint now rests on Human Health Services for not enforcing part of the policy, banning Title X fund to go into clinics who are making abortion referrals. See, these people getting Title X were not supposed to be making referrals. They're supposed to provide family planning. But you can't have family planning and abortion offices in the same building. I mean, that's part of the Title X law. And it makes sense. Why would you put a Title X funded group that is anti-abortion and a group that is pro-abortion in the same building? It's redundant. It makes no sense. Florida Jim, I'm glad you're here. Flat Earth Forums, Liberty Smith. DM, thank you for being here. You're a great mod. Willman 757, I'm glad you made it. I can't see how many people are in the chat, but I see a few, so I'm grateful. The Human Health Services requires grants, and the recipients are to recognize same-sex marriages and no exemption or accommodations for organizations who oppose homosexual behavior for religious reasons. Now, I have a question. Why, when we're talking about Planned Parenthood, we're talking about abortion, why do they put this in there about the Human Health Services requires grant recipients to recognize same-sex marriages? Well, if you have a same-sex marriages, you shouldn't be getting pregnant. So if you're not getting pregnant, you don't need to be a part of this whole deal. So something ain't right there. Why were they included? Tell me, why is a homosexual included in Planned Parenthood? It makes absolutely no sense. Willman 757, from what I can see, you already have a wrench. I gave you a wrench a while back, along with Fred Knott and Florida Jim and a lot of other people. But I'll do it again, brother. And I will do that. On my chat, you have a wrench. I'm sorry if it doesn't show up on your end. After this live stream, I will make sure that you have a wrench. Florida Jim, he says, because Planned Parenthood wants tax dollars, so any group they can affiliate will get more tax dollars, and you're exactly right. Oh, if I unwrenched him, then I didn't mean to. I will definitely, well, let's see what's going on. Let's see if I can come up there now, and I'll just wrench him right now if I can pull him up on my phone. I got him right here. Let's look for him. Will, man, I'm still showing you have a wrench. I'm going to remove you, and I'm going to re-add you. And let's see if that works, my friend. Because on my end, it's showing you have a wrench. So I unwrenched you, and then I gave you another. Let's see if it works. Let us know. United we stand. Tam J, the ruling separated funding too, making Parenthood lose millions. You're exactly right. They lost millions of dollars, and they don't really like it. And who cares what they like? Who cares? So I'm going to get off of abortion for a little bit, and I want to talk about what my live stream is about tonight, and I hope I can pull this off. Today I want to talk to you about American Bill of Rights. Many people talk about our Constitution, when they're actually talking about our Bill of Rights. The first 10 amendments to the Constitution make up the Bill of Rights, and they were penned by James Adams. And the first 10 Bill of Rights are what we all know. So I'm going to go over them right quick, and we're going to talk about them a little bit. Thank you, Liberty Smith, for posting it on Gab. Tam J says, yay, united. Wilhelm gave me a couple emojis there. And Fred Nault said he doesn't want a wrench. But anyway, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the First Amendment. I'm going to go through all 10, and I promise not to try to make this boring for you. But the First Amendment, the freedom of press, the freedom to assemble and to petition the government. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Well, speaking on the right to peaceably assemble, it means just that. And the key word in this whole thing is peaceably. You can assemble, but you're supposed to do it in the right way, which is in a peaceful manner. Well, this is not a term that everyone seems to understand, especially the far-left groups that the demon rats support, like Antifa. No one can tell me that the Dems, like Soros, and a lot of the elite aren't funding Antifa. Our demon rats in society today are funding organizations that are terrorist organizations like Antifa. Antifa is being labeled as a terrorist organization by our government, but yet Antifa come to peaceable protest with batons, bats, caustic fluids, while the whole time they hide their identity behind a mask. And this should be a federal crime and be prosecuted under federal law. There were a few states back in the day of the KKK in their heyday, and they've passed laws to where the KKK could not wear their mask in public. I see nothing wrong with that. Nobody should be coming to a protest with their face covered. So maybe we should have a federal law. Linda Carter, glad to see you here. Patty, I'm glad you're here, my friend. Patty Hefner. But people, here's what we have to worry about. These Antifa thugs, they come to these protests and they're wearing masks. They're carrying batons and bats and caustic chemicals, and I've even heard that some have had weapons. People, this should not be allowed in our streets. If Antifa wants to protest, make them take off their mask. Let us see them for who they are. Let's see them for what they really stand for. Don't hide behind a mask. That's why so few people get arrested at these rallies, because everybody's got their face covered and the police do absolutely nothing, and it's wrong. The KKK couldn't wear a mask, and neither should these Antifa thugs. The Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. People, right here in the Second Amendment to our Constitution, it gives us the right to keep and bear arms, and that rule of law cannot be infringed. That means no matter what these demon rats try to do to take away our guns, we have this God-given right by the Second Amendment to keep and bear arms. They want us defenseless. That's what they want. You know, it's crazy the way the demon rats look at the Second Amendment. They seem not to understand at all that we were given the right to keep and bear arms. They think that somehow they're supposed to, Cassie Stroh, good to see you. They seem to think that we're supposed to just give them our guns. They've already hit us with the bump stock issue. They're probably going to hit us with a suppressor ban. They're trying to be Venezuela and take our weapons so that only criminals have weapons. And that's what they want. They want the downfall of America. And without patriots having arms to protect themselves and their families and their loved ones, all it would take would be an attack by thugs, criminals with weapons, and we would be defenseless. So we're not going to give up our weapons, no matter what the demon rats want. Our Second Amendment gives us the right. Dangerous freedom. Give me a thumbs up, brother. You know I'm talking the truth. The Third Amendment to the Constitution. No quartering of soldiers. You can't quarter soldiers in your house unless you give them permission. In other words, this goes back to the Revolutionary War and the war between the states and war on our own land. So they can't just come in and take over your house unless you give them permission to do so. And I'll tell you right now, I'd be happy to give my house to a militia or any true patriot who is standing for America that needs a place to lay his head. It also says, nor in time of war, but in a manner prescribed by law. That leaves it open-ended right there a little bit. But the Fourth Amendment, unreasonable search and seizure. We've all heard that. When you get pulled over by the cops, I don't know, let's take for instance, you've been drinking. You get pulled over by the cops, and he starts asking you all these questions. Well, he says, can I search your car? And you say no. Well, you know by saying no, they're going to take you to jail. I mean, that's plain and simple, and they're going to impound your car. And if they really want to search your car, they're going to get a court order, which they have to search your car without consent. So all this is playing into the hands of the cops. And I admit, sometimes they need to have a little authority, but can't do it all the time. So here's what it talks about. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, in their houses, their papers, their effects, against unreasonable search and seizure, and it shall not be violated. And people, you have this right. Don't let anybody make you let them search you or your house or your car unless you give them permission. The Bill of Rights gives you that right. They can't search you out without warrants. And these have to be issued by a judge. And they have to have probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly described the place to be searched and the persons to be seized. Okay, so what that was saying, and I screwed it all up, I'm sure I did. I'm not really good at reading legal stuff, but what it says is that you're not supposed to be searched, and your things are not supposed to be searched unless you give permission. The Fifth Amendment. The Fifth Amendment we all know well. No person shall be held to answer for a capital or otherwise infamous crime. I love that word, infamous. Unless a precedent or indictment of a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land of naval forces or in the militia. I hate it. This tablet I got, the papers want to stick together. Or the militia in actual service in times of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject for the same offense twice, put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, not to be deprived of life, liberty, or property without due process of the law, nor shall private property be taken or used without just compensation. Well, I'll tell you what happens in all that in the Fifth Amendment. Yeah, we do have the right to plead the Fifth. We don't have to testify against ourselves for any reason. But you know, it gets a little sticky when you get to the end of it. When it says, without due process of law, nor shall private property be taken without compensation. I have a friend who lived down in another little town down the road, and he had quite a few acres there, and they were wanting to build a new school. Well, his family had been there for probably 70 or 80 years. So this was their land. I mean, he had a goat business. He had everything set up like he wanted it, and he was happy. Well, they came in and said, we want to build a school, and we want to build it right here where your house sits. And he said, no. He said, I'm not going to sell to you. And he stood his ground. And people, they threatened him with eminent domain, which means that with eminent domain, they can take anything, any property that you have. That's another one of these things they've slipped into our law. They can come and take your property and not give you a dime for it. So what he did was he met him in the middle of the road. They gave him an offer, which by law they have to give you an offer that is fair and reasonable. So he took the money rather than to have his land taken from him. That's our government, people. Thank you, DM. Thank you so much for putting Michelle's information up there. We are trying to go to D.C., and it's not going to be a cheap trip. And Tam J says, Bobby, I love your voice. Wraps around us like wings of love and might when you speak. Oh, my God, I didn't mean for that. If I'd have known that's what she said, I wouldn't have read it. I don't mean to blow my own horn. You're right, Fred Knopp. Nobody ever owns their land. You just lease it from the government. And you're exactly right. Florida Jim, they just call it eminent domain. And that's what they do. If they want to take your land, they just call it eminent domain and you lose it. So the best thing you can do is take their offer or you'll lose everything. They'll take it from you. The Sixth Amendment is right to due process and the right to counsel. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy public trial. We haven't seen that in a long time, have we? People get arrested and they go to trial. It takes 2 years or more to get them to go to court. So I don't call that a speedy trial. We're sort of falling behind on that one. But by an impartial jury of the state and the district where the crime has been committed, which district shall have personally ascertained by law and to be informed of the nature and the cause of the accusation. You know, people, it's to be confronted with a witness against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses for himself in his own favor, and to have assistance of counsel for his defense. All that simply means is we can't prosecute people without them being able to call witnesses and to have an attorney. All of that to say that. So that's something we all know. We all have the right to counsel and we all have the right to a trial. The Seventh Amendment, right of trial in civil cases. In this case, in suits at common law, where the value of controversy shall exceed $20, the right of trial by jury shall be preserved, and no fact tried by a jury shall otherwise be re-examined in any court of the U.S. other than according to the rules of common law. Well, we've changed that, people. The last time I heard it was $500. Back then it was $20. But then you're talking way back in the 1700s, so $20 was a whole lot of money back then. And they've raised that up. So I don't know what it is. It may be 500 or 1,000 before you're in real trouble. But amendment number 8. Excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel or unusual punishment. Well, first of all, I think it all depends on what the crime is. The crime is what tells you what the fine should be and what the punishment should be. You know, we're not going to treat anybody cruel in America. Now, granted, I'll give you this. If we had the demon rats in charge of our penal systems, and which probably a lot of them are, and we had them in charge of other things to where law matters, because the demon rats have no rule of law, so it already messes up our amendments, because they don't believe in the rule of law. But you're not supposed to prosecute somebody and you're not supposed to give them unfair treatment. We all know that. The Ninth Amendment, the rights of the people, the enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed or deny or disparage others retained by the people. And what this enumeration means is it's something that you put forth with point after point after point, and you keep bringing out these points, and that's what the Constitution does. It lays everything out. It lays it all out in front of you, point by point, one after the other, and that's all that the Ninth Amendment means. The 10th Amendment, power is reserved to the states. The power is not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the state, or preserved to the states respectively, or to the people. And that's stuff like Medicaid, food stamps, stuff that goes on within the states, I guess your voting laws and things like that. But anything that is covered by the state is protected. I've done pretty well tonight. I'm at 8:42. I'm going to shout out some people. Jervis, thank you, my friend. Tony Patriot, Tam J, Liberty Smith, Flat Earth Forums. Flat Earth Forums, I tell you what, man, you got a good channel. Check these people out. Officially Zimbros. Hey, man, I haven't talked to you in a while. I was talking to you there pretty regular for a while, and I've missed you. Glad you're here. But check out these channels. If you don't know who they are, grab them. Because I'm going to tell you, people, we got a lot of great patriots here, and they're going to get you right back, I promise you. But I know for a fact there's some people in here, at least I saw earlier, who aren't regulars, so if you see them, pick them up. I'm going to try to get through this real quick. I don't know if I got time. I've got 17 minutes, so I'm going to rush. Florida Jim says, Linda, the only thing they were good at was drinking too much and beating their wives. Amen, Florida Jim. You're exactly right. Tony Patriot, thank you for being here. Fred Knott said to Linda Carter, that was part of the plan to keep us all divided. And you're right. I'm going to turn off this light. It's gotten darker. I don't need all that light. So Maybe that looks a little better. I didn't mean to blind y'all people. Let's see. Flat Earth Forum says, Tony Patriot, I will run you tonight. You don't have to do any of mine. I'm good, brother. I noticed a difference. And he said, thank you to Tony Patriot. And I also say thank you to Tony Patriot. I say thank you to Spirit Talker. Spirit Talker, thank you for hanging out with us tonight, along with Dangerous Freedom and Fred Knott and Jervis. So let's throw out some of these people's URLs. Tam J, I'm glad you're talking to Zen. And yeah, I'm behind catching up on some videos myself. It's hard to catch up on all these videos of people you're subscribed to, and because there's so many. So it's hard, but I try. If I subscribe to you, I try to go to your channel, and I try to leave a comment after I've watched a video in full, and I hit the bell icon and the like button. That locks me into your channel, and that's what we need to do as patriots. If we visit these channels, we like what they say. If you don't like what they say, then leave the channel and unsubscribe. It's that simple. I have it happen to me all the time. Hello, Becky Taylor. How are you? That sounds, is that the sound of Georgia bugs? Yeah, we got some cicadas out here. I didn't know if you could hear that or not. Some people call them July flies. But my Wi-Fi, no matter what I do, I've bought a couple of new routers, and I've bought extenders, and I just can't get my signal to go to my studio. I guess I'm going to have a whole new cable system ran to my building, and that means I have a new cable bill every month, and I don't know if I want to take on that expense every month just to be able to sit in my studio with flags behind me. Actually, I think these flowers look pretty good. I'm sitting here on my front porch, and I'm talking to the people I love. The air's crisp, and the fans are blowing, and I feel good. So I'm glad to be here, and I'm having a good time on my front porch. Maybe I'll change my video names to Bobby on the Porch or something. But people, I'm glad you're here. Hope Unbroken. Perhaps this website could post a Bill of Rights and ask Americans who give their feedback, have their rights been honored or violated? That is a really good idea. That would be something that maybe I would like to do on a panel, maybe with Pete the Patriot or someone else. We could do that. We could have a call-in show, and we could get some information from you live, and we can hear your voice. So let me think about that. We'll do our best. And I'll talk to Forbidden Information, and I'll talk to Tony Patriot, and we'll see what we can work out. And I agree, DM. That would be absolutely awesome. I'm going to make sure that I look after this live stream. I'm going to check out the replay because I want to make sure that I don't miss that. You have to pardon me if I keep doing this. Right? There's gnats flying around. I don't know if you can see them or not. And I don't really want to get into my next story. I've got another 10 pages here, but I don't have time to do it. So I'm going to sit here and talk to you. Shonda Graphics says, Flat Earth Forum says, hello, I'm probably going live noon Central Time. Is that going to be tomorrow, Flat Earth Forums, or is that going to be Sunday? When is that going to be? Because I'd love to check out your live stream. Tony Patriot, thank you, Tony. You rock, my friend. You're the one that named us the Patriot family. You're the ones that got this all started. At least you were a major part of it. We all play a small part, but Tony, we appreciate you for your efforts and your hard work. Saturday at noon, Flat Earth Forums. If I get that right, Flat Earth, give me a big thumbs up. Fred Knott. Yeah, Alex. Pick up Disabled Vets Perspective. He does live streams through the week, and he does a live stream on Sunday night at 7 p.m. Right before me. It says Florida Jim. I wish I lived closer, Bobby. I'd love to. I'll tell you, Florida Jim, I've been thinking about making a trip to Florida just to come see you. You've already told me I could crash my head on your couch. So let's get together. I'm going to give you a call tomorrow or Sunday, and we'll talk about it. It wouldn't be a great expense to ride for a few hours to come hang out with you. So let's see if we can't do that. We might even do it next Sunday or something. So we'll talk about it. If I don't call you, call me. Ammo Walk. That's right. Say hello to Shonda Graphics. She's woohoo. She's fantastic. DM is fantastic. DM and History Bee. They have a show on Saturday nights at 9 p.m. DM is one of the best dang mods that ever hit YouTube, along with Ashley and Jervis and a few others. You'll see on my chat there, I've given wrenches to a lot of people. But the reason I gave those wrenches to those people is because they do their job. They keep the chat going, and they shout out people for me. And sometimes they answer questions for me because they know what my answer is. So I thank these people, and I'm grateful to them. They're actually doing work, and that means a lot to me because they put their time and effort into my live stream to help me. And I'll tell you, people, I have had so much help since I got on YouTube. Tony Patriot, Joe, the American Joe Show, DM, Jervis, Ashley, Florida Jim, Flat Earth Forums. All of these people are really great. And I'm going to tell you, when I reached 1,000 subscribers, I thought that I had done something that I'd never dreamed of ever doing. And I'm grateful to each and every one of you who subscribe. And I'm going to try my level best to shout you out. I'm going to do my level best to bring you the truth. You know, sometimes the news is just covered up with stories. And sometimes it's like a desert. So I can't always guarantee you that I'm going to give you a full hour. But I'm going to do my level best to bring you something that's new, it's in the news, and I'm going to give my take on it, and I hope you don't mind listening. And evidently we got people like Florida Jim, Terry Christ, officially Zimbros. Y'all check out Zen. He's a young guy, but he's cool. He works hard, and I tell you, he's struggling. He's struggling like all of us to make ends meet. But check out Zen at officially Zimbros. He's a good kid. Let's say, Jervis, you're right. Hit that like button. If you didn't hit it on your way in, hit it on your way out. Florida Jim said, I'd love to be at 1,000. My brother, I promise you, we will talk. And Tony Patriot gave me some insight on how to grow your channel, and it works. So call me or I'll call you, and we'll talk about it. Or you could call Tony Patriot. Feel free to call me anytime. I know you did, Terry Chris. You did. You subbed me as soon as I started making videos. And I'm going to tell you, brother, I've missed you not being in my live streams. Initially, I planned to do 3 live streams a week and still do videos. But I'm going to tell you, it's a lot of work to come up with an hour's worth of information and to keep the chat going and to keep everything new and fresh. So it's hard to do videos now. I did have another stack of pages left over from tonight that I'm not going to get to. So tomorrow, I'm going to do a video, and y'all join me there. I don't know what time I'll do it, probably in the morning. So check out that. I'm going to be talking on several things. I'm going to be talking about politics, and we have to talk about Skeletor Pelosi, you know. And I also have a poem that I want to give you. I don't really have time to go through it tonight, but I'll do it on my video tomorrow. And I'm getting close to my hour. Let's see, we got here Ammo Walk. Florida Jim, I just got you. Hope you get to 1,000. Just had a Jubilee. I got me to 50. Well, brother Ammo Walk, as soon as I get off of here, I'm going to hit you up, and I'm going to check out your channel. And at Tony Patriot. Absolutely, absolutely. Drop it like it's Scott. And Fred Nault taught me. Maybe Jervis also taught him how to grow. And see, that's what we do, people. We help each other. I was stagnant around 500. And I watched Tony Patriot, who was like 100 ahead of me, just run away. And he got over 1,000, and now he's up to 1,300 or 400. So he's still growing. And I just called him and I said, man, I'm stagnant. I need some help. And he gave me a little help. And I promise you that Jervis and Tony Patriot and I and Fred Nault and all these other people who have a little experience in growing a channel will be happy to help you. All you have to do is reach out and talk to us. Everything's going to be great, people. We can grow together. I'm not a grow channel. That's not what I do. My thing is to bring you some news that I think you might need to hear or want to hear, and to bring you the stories of abortions. Michelle and I have an understanding. She brings out the laws and she gives you the technical parts of abortion. I try to bring you the stories. Lately, the stories have been few and far between. So I haven't been able to bring you the stories that I used to bring. But as they unfold, I promise you that I will bring those stories to you. But in the meantime, I'm going to stay true to the Patriot family. I'm going to stay true to President Trump. I'm going to stay true to our Constitution. I'm going to stay true to you, because I know that you'll stay true to me. And together, we stand together, united. And as long as we're united as a patriot family and as a country of God-loving Americans, we have a chance to defeat these demon rats in 2020. Hopefully, things are going to turn around. We already know that our Congress is full of nothing but demon rats, and we know that all they want is the downfall of America. Hopefully in 2020, with the guidance of President Trump and with the heartfelt devotion that we patriots have to good and to God and to our country, we're going to vote these demon rats out of office. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but I would love to see a one-party country. It may never happen. We have the abortion issue. We have the prison issue. We have the border issue. We have free health care for all. We have student loan forgiveness. We have climate change. People, the divide is so great that I don't think that we will ever be able to heal this country completely. I just don't believe it. The divide between right and wrong, good and evil, is so vast. I don't think we will ever be able to bring them back together. You know, they said in the Bible that in the end times there would be a great apostasy. And apostasy means falling away from the true God. And that's what's happened in America. We have, not you or I, but we as Americans have fallen away from the teachings of our one God, who is the creator of all. We've fallen away from the teachings in His Word. We've fallen away from the love and the blood and the salvation of Jesus Christ. We have turned our backs. As America, at least half of us have turned their back on God and want nothing to do with what's good or right in this country. The demon rats want nothing more than the downfall of America. They want us to be a third world country. That's why they preach open borders. That's why they preach Medicare for all. That's why they preach free education. They preach student loan forgiveness. They preach climate change. People, we are in a battle. We are in a battle for good and right. And if we don't keep standing, and if we don't keep fighting, if we don't keep bringing out this stuff to everybody that we can, they're going to get the upper hand, and we can never allow that to happen, because we have people like Dangerous Freedom, Spirit Talker, Disabled Vets Perspective, Tony Patriot, American Joe Show, Douglas Dakota. We've got Forbidden Information. We've got Fred Knopf, Florida Jim, Flat Earth Forums. There's so many of us. And we're doing right. And we're doing the right thing. So people, let's support each other. Let's do our best like you did tonight when you came and watched my live stream. I'm going to try to do the same for you. And I promise you I'll be tuning in tomorrow at noon. Dang it, there's so many people here, I can't remember exactly who it was, but at noon I'll be watching out. I want to watch everybody's live stream if I can. I may have to catch them on replay. But people, it's 9 p.m. straight up, and I try to be punctual. Dangerous Freedom. Slap, brother. I love you, man. I love you, Liberty Smith, Flat Earth Forums, Florida Jim, Dangerous Freedom. Always, my brother. Hope Unbroken. You said you'll read the note. The UN has a list of human rights. Foreigners can seek asylum if they are broken. For Americans, nothing. You're right, brother. And Steve H. says, a great show, Bobby. God bless you and all the great fans who support this awesome channel. Thank you so much for your support. It's 9 p.m. Actually, it's 9:01. I'm going to get out of here. People, I love you. God bless you. I'll see you Sunday night at 8 p.m. following Disabled Vets Perspective. I'll see you then.